What is up, YouTube? That's here. I'm back playing more VGC 2023 Regulation C team fixing. Today we're taking a super hyper aggressive team and trying our best to polish it up a little bit while still keeping what the team wants to do intact. It features Chien-Pao, Dragapult, Chi-Yu, Iron Bundle, Arcanine, and Flutter. This is submitted on the official Patreon team submission post on Patreon. If you guys want me to take a look at your teams, do my absolute best to fix them and explain why I'm making the changes that I'm making so you guys can learn how to build better teams. Think about checking out the Patreon. There's a link to it in the description. Today we're taking a look at Callum's team. They say, I'm still really new to VGC and thought you could have a look at my team and fix it if possible. I would not mind trying some different Pokemon, but Arcanine and Dragapult are two of my favorites. So we're definitely going to try our best to keep the Arcanine and the Dragapult. And if we take a look at the actual team that was submitted, it's a lot of 252 sets, like a lot of those 252 sets. And there's nothing really ever wrong with 252 sets, especially on hyper aggressive teams. These are probably like 5 or 6 of the best Pokemon if you're just going to be a 252 club player. That being said, a lot of these moves and a lot of these items and a lot of these Teras have to be absolutely 100% on point if you want to use 252 stuff, because the margin for error is very, very small. A team like this, you really want to do your best to get into a slightly advantageous position, and then from there take 1-for-1 trades. So like, for example, let's say each one of the Pokemon represent resources, and I can do my absolute best to maybe force you to use your Tera early, or maybe even take out one of your Mons. If I have 4 and then you have 3, and then I do 1-for-1 trades, you know, I'm going to have 1 and you're going to have none at the end. So that's what this team really wants to do. So being able to perfectly have the right abilities, perfectly have the right moves, perfectly have the right Teras for the right situations, it's super, super important. So hopefully by the end of this video, after we've played 3 or 4 games, we'll go into some team fixings, show you how I would make those changes, and then play a few more games on Showdown. If this is something you guys like seeing and you want to see more team fixing so you guys learn how to be better players yourselves, think about dropping a like. Think about dropping a comment saying you want to see more stuff like this. Also, while you're there, answer the question of the day. The question of the day is, what's the most broken, strongest Pokemon ever made for any meta? I know everyone's already typing in Arceus, but Arceus has never been legal for VGC. I think some popular picks are going to be like Mega Kangaskhan in like 2015, Zacian in 2020. Things like Dawn Wings, Ultra Necrozma in 2019. There's a lot of very powerful picks, and you could just say Landorus, and you don't have to specify the format. We all know what you're talking about. Landorus is pretty busted. So let me know your opinion, what the strongest Pokemon made for any meta was, and why that Pokemon was so dominant. And without further ado, let's get right onto these battles. Wish me luck. Here we go. Right, here we go. A little bit of balance. Baxcalibur Palafin with Tinglu. That's a very, very solid team. I think we need to respect the Palafin a little bit. And we need to respect the Flutter. I wonder if there's going to be Sash Flutter. It's probably going to be Sash Flutter with a loaded dice backs. So, like, realistically, something like Pult could go very well here. I would say Pult and something to help us check Amoonguss if they wanted to lead Amoonguss could be good. So, like, Pult, Chi-Yu could go very, very good into this. Even if they wanted to link Tinglu into that, we'd probably be able to mess him up a lot. Or even something like Bundle. I don't hate Bundle here. I just think Bundle's a lot better in the back. We could realistically lead, though, Flutter here, too. And then I will be bringing my Chi-Yu. I think it's the right Mon to bring. Just what do we want to bring in the very back? I don't think we need Arcanine as big of a defensive pivot here because we have the Mystical Fire on the Flutter. I think we should bring our Sash Mon. It's probably just the right play. Let's bring it. Let's bring that Chien-Pao. I've seen a lot of people talking about how they don't really like Chien-Pao Pult, and they don't know how Justin Tang was able to win with it at Fort Wayne. And realistically, that's a perfect example. I've said it so many times about a team that was really, really good for a specific event, but the more you analyze it, the more you realize, like, it's really, really overextended. So when you guys are using these teams and you're copying these rentals in your own games, you can't just lead, like, Dragapult most of the time. We're probably going to be clicking U-turn. You can't just lead with, like, a Choice Band Mon and a Chien-Pao and think that things are going to go fine. You're going to get Tailwinded on, you're going to get Trick Roomed on, you're going to get redirected. It's going to be a big problem. Our play here is to realistically... What Tera do we have here? We have Ghost on this. I think that we still Darts here, just because they're gonna go redirect. They're probably gonna go redirect. And with Fairy Tera here, we're just gonna go for the Mystical Fire. I know that they cut our special attack here, but I think that that's gonna be. I think we're still gonna have enough damage to take them out. And if we can take out that Amoonguss, we're gonna win the game, right? But do you see how, like, games where our opponent's waiting? Oh wow, they didn't go redirect. Wow. Okay. works for me. So something's getting put to sleep here, unless we high roll this Mystical Fire. Yeah, I thought they were going to Rage Powder. I really did. Something's getting put to sleep, but next turn we'll be fine. Ooh, what berry is that? Is it Pinch or Citrus? Citrus is very standard on Amoonguss. And this is one of the reasons why I'm just not that big of a fan of Pult, to be completely honest. Alright, so Pult's going to get put to sleep. And let's see if we have something in the back that can even check the Amoonguss. Do you see how greedy that Spore was, though, too? So greedy. Holy moly. If we had, like, a good Terrastalize option on this Pult for a single target move, it would have been great. And I'm sure they actually targeted into the Flutter. So it's fine that we're still going to go Chi-Yu here. We're just going to lock ourselves into Heat Wave. And I think we're going to lock ourselves into Heat Wave. We're going to burn one turn of sleep on this Pult. And do you see what I mean, though? Like, these hyper-aggressive teams like this can get absolutely, like, shut off. Yeah, we'll waste one of these sleep turns. We're stuck using Dragon Darts anyways. But yeah, choice item teams, hard to use. We don't need to waste a Tera here. They're going to be protecting. They're probably going to be switching it out next turn. Let's see if we can get a burn onto this Ting-Lu. And, like, very low-key, if we wake up next turn with this Pult, we're in a good spot. Any burns? Oh my gosh, dude, Chi-Yu's literally busted. I swear I get, like, every Heat Wave burn. Dragapult get the sleep, so we had to be asleep that turn. And Adamant Tantrum will not do that much damage because we, because we got the big burn. We take those. We're going to do our absolute best to wake up here. I think it's the best that we got. Dragon Darts, if they want to swap in their Flutter, they completely can. If they want to swap in their backs, they completely can. We should probably Terrastalize this just so we don't lose it this turn, though. They're withdrawing that. So this makes so we live through the Adamant Tantrum. They might also be body pressing or something. Arcanine. Good Intimidate here. Oh, wait, this Dragapult's not Clear Body? Bro, it's Cursed Body? Ah, that's so bad. Yeah, if we go show the good old showdown over here. Cursed Body Pult, literally. Gotta have that Clear Body. It's the whole reason why this Pokemon works, right? So that Intimidate's gonna be really, really, really bad. Heat Wave, we hit. Double hit. Any Wakers? Not yet. And now we're within range for most things that Arcanine can even do. Ruination into the Pult. Wow, they ignored the Chi-Yu, knowing full well that we were Scarfed. Huh. Alright. Yeah, you just gotta switch out that Pult. You realistically do. I cannot live through that Intimidate. I just can't. You know what? We gotta stay in. If we wake up, we can actually get the Ting-Lu off the board right now. It sucks, though. It sucks. Gotta be Clear Body on this stance. That's the main reason you even keep this Pokemon around. And if we wake up with Pult, we might be able to take out Ting-Lu. Wow! 3-turn sleep! Ah! Unlucky. Snarl's fine. Any Curse Bodies? Oh my gosh. Yeah, not even Infiltrator. There's the Curse Body. Yeah, we take those. Not that it really matters. Heavy Slam. Gets the KO. Critical hit! You actually needed it, but it's completely fair you got the crit because we got the burn off the 10% chance. So we get to bring in a Chien-Pao here, which is not bad. Shredding up those defenses counters up for the fact that I got Intimidated for the most part. I think we're just going to go for a Sacred Sword into the Arcanine. I kind of want to just click Sucker Punch, though, because it's a lot more damage. If they Wisp me, though, we just lose. Sucker Punch... oh, sorry, not Sucker Punch here. We're going to go for Wake Up Darts, and I'm going to go for the Sacred Sword. We don't want to go for the Icicle Crash because it can miss. Wake Up Darts. So we're going to take out Ting-Lu. We're going to chunk the Arcanine just a little bit and hopefully put it within range for a Sacred Sword. Note that they already used their Citrus Berry. Any Pinch Berries? Are you freaking real, bro? Pinch Berry Arcanine! Ah! Unlucky. Sacred Sword. Ah, of course. Flare Blitz. Hopefully they don't burn me back. They're going to KO themselves. And there's our Sash. They have a Amoonguss left. And they should be ticking out off this. Depends on what their last mon is. If their last mon is something like Flutter, we're actually like low-key okay. Because like we'll double into the Amoonguss slot with this Dragon Darts. And then be able to Sucker Punch, maybe trade. If like we could like crit a Sucker Punch or something. If they're like a weird Flutter set. Backs, okay. Huh. They're just gonna Ice Shard Pult. Pult stuck here. Just go for the darts. and realistically go for a Sucker Punch into... Because we're trying to play around Ice Shard the best we can, but let's see what we can get done. There shouldn't be any way that we win this one. They're going to go Terastallize as well. Like, let's say if they want to go for, like, an Ice Shard into our Chien-Pao Spore, into the Chien-Pao, they probably still win off that, but, like, let's see what we can get done. They're losing their Dragon Weakness right now. And Protect Amoonguss. This is going to double dip my darts all into that back slot. And our Sucker Punch does go before their Ice Shard. So, like, Sucker Punch goes in here. Big damage, right? Darts might finish it off. It definitely would have finished it off if we didn't get intimidated. Oh, we got it. Oh, man, that was a high roll. Oh, the reads. Yeah, why would I go after your Amoonguss? And at this point, we just win. We should not have won this game, by the way. I just want... This is the perfect game to show off the example of how hyper-aggressive teams like this, like, shouldn't really be able to hold up with, like, balanced teams. But, you know, that's the reason we use these. We have to play with every single team, right? We have to play with every single team. We should not have won this game. We got a lucky burn. We got an unlucky 3-turn sleep. But we could also still miss this Icicle Crash and lose. So let's see what we got. Gotta have that Clear Body Pulp, though. Alright. And we hit it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We should not have won this game, but we take those wins all the way to the bank. All they had to do was click Rage Powder and they won. Rage Powder, Ice Shard, Pult, and they win the game. But, hey, if they don't see the wins, I'm not going to give it to them. Oh my gosh, what is this? Ditto. Ditto Drifblim. Shore Up Strats. That's weird. There's nothing really wrong with leading Flutter here. And just remember, that last game was like a really good example of how like these hyper-aggressive teams like super fall off. I wonder what we're going to lead here, though, because we want to be able to punish them for doing... So we also need to bait them, because they're going to be using Ditto, right? Which means they're going to lock in Ditto. They might lock it in first. So we need to make sure the first Pokemon that they copy is one that's not a good copy target. Something we could always like very low-key outspeed. So like something like Arcanine and this work, because this could low-key pin the Arcanine back. And it goes off based off what the Ditto's Tera is, not the Arcanine. So if we have normal Tera, this is great. So this is a good lead here. There's nothing wrong with Chi-Yu here. Yeah, and I still want to bring that Pult in the back. But I think I might opt to go with the Chien-Pao instead. You need to bring Sashmon. I think the Sashmon is like super, super valuable here. It just sucks that we have Sucker Punch. Maybe we don't want to use that then. It's fine. We'll be fine. This team's really weird. I don't know what this guy's going to do. I have no idea what this person's going to hit us with, but I'm not afraid of something like the Sandygast. I'm not really afraid of Drifblim. I'm more so afraid of Ditto copying our own hyper-aggressive Pokemon. So we're trying to condition them into lead Ditto first, which would then copy, I think that would make... Actually, they would be leading Ditto second because Ditto's the lower in their party. So no Ditto at all, so it doesn't even matter then. We're trying to make them copy Arcanine, right? Which would have been where the Umbreon slot is. That's what the idea was behind that. Anyways, wasted Intimidate. It's not that big a deal. Arcanine's not that useful here. I think I might just double into the Umbreon and just let that happen. If you want to go Tailwind, like, be my guest, be my guest. I'm clicking D-Gleam because it's the best. Let's go. Specs D-Gleam. We might just one-shot this Umbreon, believe it or not. We might... Oh, wait, we're Ghost Tera. Wait, are we Ghost Tera? Are we Fairy? Are we Fairy or Ghost? This is... I mean, I'm assuming you're Fairy because you're Specs. Alright, so this... We're Fairy, obviously, right? It shows Fairy, but on the Pokepaste, it says Ghost. It also says that you have Moongeist Beam instead of Moonblast. So gotta submit the right paste, too. I thought I saw Fairy, right? The Umbreon almost goes down. Right into Berry range on one of them. Oh, is that Berry Drifblim? Oh, that's Berry not good. Because that's going to activate Unburden, which means it's going to go right now. Stockpile. Oh, man. We got to take this Umbreon out. We have to hit this. We have to hit this player up. So important. Otherwise, it's gonna really mess us up with a Snarl. Nice. Cool. And I want to see if they had a Rocky Helmet on that thing. Rocky Helmet Umbreon is viable. Looks like they don't. Cool. So what are they going to send out? Hard to say. But we want, you can see this team is completely all in from like the first turn of the game. We have Santiago's Arcanine, not that big. We're not locked into anything, I guess, so that's good. Ditto copy Arcanine, which is exactly what we wanted. We wanted Ditto to copy the Arcanine. And now we can just pivot, because their moveset is Protect, E-Speed, Plera, Flare Blitz. So we have something like Chi-Yu in the back that can swap in very, very well on this. And we could also, like, realistically even go for, like, an E-Speed back, but I want to be able to save the Arcanine. So we're going to swap in the Chi-Yu, shred the Spadef on the Drifblim, and I think we can probably take it out with another Dazzling Gleam here. And we're not that afraid of Ditto, even if the Arcanine set that we let them copy has a Scarf. You can see this Arcanine set that we let them copy still only has 4 points in speed, so it's not going to be able to catch our Flutter anyways. So that was the idea behind why we let them copy that slot, and why we conditioned them to copy that spot, and why that was the best situation for us. So Chi-Yu comes in here. They can go for an Extreme Speed if they want. It won't kill the Flutter. Strength Sap. Not bad. We don't get this KO, but next turn we do. Next turn we got it. Unless we crit. Obviously, crit would go through the special defense boost. Survey says big D-Gleam here. Remember, Ditto copies your offensive stats and your speeds, but not your HP. We're doing half doing Ditto. Flare Blitz, you're almost gone on that Ditto slot. Almost gone. Flutter Mane goes down. That should be fine. I'm worried about Drifblim. I'm going to send out Chien-Pao. No, I'm not. I'm going to send out Arcanine. No, I'm going to save the Arcanine. I'm going to save the Intimidate. Send out the Chien-Pao. Go for Tech Bait. It should bait the Arcanine into going for either an Extreme Speed and or a Protect. Right? And then we can just go for a Dark Pulse into this slot. And then next turn we'll swap out our Chien-Pao for Arcanine, get an Intimidate there, basically waste their time, and we'll be able to correctly use the Chi-Yu to win the game. That's the idea. That Drifblim's the scary one here. Don't want to deal with that. Not today. Another thing though, I'm sure that Arcanine is Scarfed, but like we don't know what their Ditto is. Like I keep on talking about, like the Dittos are usually Scarfed, but we don't know for sure. So that's why we're not. We also are protecting here to make sure they can't Strength Sap into the spot. We're using it as bait. Extreme Speed, so they're not Scarfed. And I was playing around that correctly. Show me that Strength Sap too, because I know you want to Strength Sap that thing. Yeah, see, like that's the bait. And if I sent it the Arcanine, they knew that slot had Protect, but they didn't know that the Chien-Pao had Protect. And the reason they knew Arcanine had Protect was because we already showed them our Arcanine from the Ditto. So that was a really, really good play. Really, really good little misdirection to take a free turn on that Chi-Yu. Yes, it cost me my Protect, but like Chien-Pao doesn't really care like what you're gonna do to it. And your teammates don't want any of this. Skeledirge versus this? Dude, good luck, Chuck. This is a solid play. If they want to go for E-Speed, this is good. I want to know if they're going to Snarl. I want to know if they're going to go like Fairy Tera. Because again, we have not seen their Tera yet. So like Fairy Tera Skeledirge, if we were to go like Sucker Punch plus Dark Pulse in there, that'd be pretty lame. But let's see if they go Fairy Tera. Survey says Terastallizing something. Has to be Fairy Tera Skeledirge. Gotta play around that. Gotta play around it. Super standard. Fire Tera. It's fine. This is still going to do like half unless they're vested. This might do even a little bit more because we are a modest Chi-Yu instead of a timid one. So it's going to do a lot. E-Speed, that's a lot too. That's a crit. It's unlucky. Remember, we just intimidated them. Dark Pulse. Okay, that looks to be vested Skeledirge. And they were doubling into what was Chien-Pao. Which is totally fine. Ooh, that's almost enough to get us off the board. They double crit me, bro! Bro, the double crit! Can you freaking not? Oh my gosh. Alright, so we're going to go for a Dark Pulse into that slot. And realistically just go drop a Protect. We want to elongate the amount of time they're like using Extreme Speed with Ditto. That's already three Extreme Speeds they've used. And Ditto, you only get 5 PP of each move. So if we can kind of wait out those Extreme Speeds, we're going to be in a good spot. You can double dip and go into my Chi-Yu with like Extreme Speed and like player ups and other things like that. But yeah, there's absolutely no reason to take out that Arcanine right now. They're floundering because they don't want to waste all their Extreme Speeds. And I don't want to risk a Speed tie either. Next turn I might try it. But we just want that free damage on Skeledirge right now. Absolutely free damage. Like you shouldn't be able to slack off unless like you look to be vested. And Chi-Yu's almost down, so you're probably gonna go E-Speed into my Chi-Yu. And so what we're gonna do to beat this is Dark Pulse into the Skeledirge. And we're gonna try and E-Speed your Arcanine. It's a speed tie here. Ditto's completely, it's literally a 50-50. Someone's getting this off, and I'd rather go for the Extreme Speed into the Ditto. Yep, they won the speed tie, so what's going to happen is They're going to KO our Chi-Yu, we're going to KO their Arcanine, and they're going to KO our Arcanine, and then it's going to be just a Sash Chien-Pao versus their last 2 Mons. Which is the unluckiest of situations, but we did get double crit back to back. And so there's 2 ways we can do this. We're gonna have Chien-Pao. If Chien-Pao can trade really well with their last Mon, we're fine. But it's hard to say how this is gonna go down. Chien-Pao, and what's your last Mon? Is it something they can get one shot from Sucker Punch? I think they have one more Mon too, I think. Oh, they didn't. They had Drift Blimp. Duh, I'm an idiot. I'm so good at this game. I really forgot we deleted the Ember on the first turn. Holy moly. That's what happens when you play Pokemon for like a million hours. You assume your opponents have like 5 Pokemon on their team and you think you need to beat 5. When in reality, you totally don't. And you can just go for this absolutely massive Sacred Sword and get the KOs and get those wins. Don't want to go for a Sucker Punch because they could have... I'm assuming they're vested, but they could have been using Roll Wisp or something. They could have. You never know. So we'll take these wins. And again, you can tell these hyper-aggressive teams, even when it's me playing them, like, there's only so much they can do because they're so overextended. So when we actually go into the team fixing for this team, what we're going to be doing is reining in a lot of these, like, choice item sets and, you know, booster sets and banded sets. And we're going to be making it so the team has more options than just having base speed tiers higher than the opponent. Because right now, as this stands, this team can't do anything against Trick Room. This can't do anything against, like, other hyper-aggressive Tailwind variants. This team can't do anything, especially you already saw in that last matchup, where, like, speed ties are a big thing, and if your opponent just wins a speed tie, you get absolutely rolled, and you basically lose everything, right? We lost our Arcanine and our Chi-Yu that turn. We had a 2-for-1 trade, which is very not optimal. Luckily, we had built up enough resources to where we were still fine, but you can see how those sort of trades aren't something you want to be taking. So when we go into the team fixing section after this next game, we're going to be trying our best to, you know, give all these Mons a lot more balance to them, maybe adding a Tailwind setter so we can actually just get good speed control, and then from there, use that advantage to bully opponents, so where when we have to take those trades, it's not like speed ties, it's basically trading 1-for-1 and never those 2-for-1 situations. That's kind of like what I was talking about. We see this team, how they have like a little bit of priority with their backs, and they have like some standard redirection with things like Volcarona and Mouse, but then they also have like booster bundle potentially for Icy Winds, and then they have like Mons like Goldango and Great Tusk, which are just a massive delete options after they get up speed control. So we have to do our very best as the aggressive player here to deny all of their potential forms of getting that Tailwind up. So we need to lead with things they can just delete stuff off the board. So it's going to have to probably be Flutter, Chi-Yu, which isn't even optimal because this now loses to like bundle with Icy Wind. And it's just... it's going to be a little dicey. We also don't have Clear Body here either, so like our Pult's like big sad. I think we have to then still bring our Chien-Pao to go for those Sucker Punches in the late game, which I'm just not that big of a fan of, and it would be nice to be able to use Pult here, but we're going to have to bring Bundle to trade back, and I'm not the biggest Bundle fan on this team. This Bundle does still have Hydro, which is good, but this is probably going to be an L. You know what? I'm going to bring Pult. Pult's an intangible. You can't put a price on an intangible. Pult has that that special something. Even if it's Curse Body, that's a little bit of special something. And I'm going to use the tools that I have. They even have the Volcarona profile picture, which means like I'm really actually scared of like Volk Mouse into like Tailwind. That would be really bad. Bundle Mouse. Okay, that's fine. We just go Heat Wave Dazzle into this, and that's fine. We're probably also going to Terrastalize our Chi-Yu, just so we don't get one-shotted by a Hydro. And I think Heat Wave plus Dazzle gets this. I definitely do. The hardest part's just hitting, right? So we have Dazzle here. We don't have to Terrastalize this right now, but I do think it's the right play. Just so we don't get one-shotted by Hydro Pump. The right play for them should be, like, realistically, like, Icy Winding, I think. Maybe even like a Protect bundle, like play with the Mouse. That could be really good. This also stops like Pop Bombs or anything weird like that they might want to do. So I'm not mad about this play, but we're definitely having to be over aggressive. They're going for the Follow Me, which is totally fine. They're going to get whatever they want off. Just miss a Hydro, bro. Hydro. It hits. We made the right play, and they crit us. I've been crit with like 10 moves, and we ate it, right? Because we Ghost Tera. Ever seen anyone as good as me? I guess not, baby. Let's take those wins. And so you see, like, these sort of situations, we had to go all in. And I knew everything they were going to do, and it still went as bad as it could. And yes, we're winning, but you see how, like, you have to you have to match that like crazy aggressive energy when you play teams like this. And there's just so many better ways that you could safely deal with that. You could have had our own Tailwind Mon. We could have had like we could have just went like Tailwind, like make it rain with the Goldango, and that wouldn't even been a problem. But you can see in these situations, like, that's really, really dicey. And we're still gonna go for the same play. Like, realistically, this is probably a game that, like, if we hit this Heat Wave, depending on what they Tera or Protect with, we win the game this turn. We're in a good spot, but do you just see how risky that is? There's so many better ways that you can play this, which is what we're gonna be optimizing in just a moment. I don't think those things get any priority moves. They could be like Scarf Volk, which would outspeed our Chi-Yu because we're using a modest Chi-Yu. So that could be a problem. I guess like Scarf Tusk could still be a problem too. So like there is still like potential of like Scarf Tusk with like Flying Tera Volk or whatever. That'd be a big problem. We could also just miss the Heat Wave, but I'm thinking we're gonna get this one. There's the Protect Vault, cool. So we're just gonna be able to potentially get the Tusk off the board. Maybe it's Scarf Tusk. Okay. Chi-Yu, we need to hit this by the way, to break potential Sash if it is sashed. Awesome. And so it wasn't Scarf Tusk. It's probably the Sash Tusk. And I'm assuming it's probably like Citrus or something on Volk. And you can see just how strong this board is. But another thing is, like, I really like my Chi-Yus to be Timid, just so we don't have to say, like, I hope they're not Scarf Timid Mon or Jolly Mon, right? It's really, really nice. So in this situation, we just go Deogoom again. Heat Wave again. They might go, like, Water Tera, but now they're taking single target damage, and they just take the scoop. So we are going to take that win, but we were really, really, really overextended. Like, we won that game, but did that mean we were a better player? I don't really think so. So what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the rental code once again, and then going and fixing all of the EVs, maybe changing one or two of the Mons just to give our team a much better opportunity to play just a slightly longer game without having to risk as much. So let's go take a look at that rental code one more time. All right, so we just got done with those 3 games, which we won all 3, but in all 3 of those games, you all saw how overextended we felt. We had to risk everything on hitting Heat Waves. We had to risk a lot of things on Speed Ties. You don't have to play that way. That being said, this team's pretty good. It uses 6 very, very good Pokemon, but I think they can be optimized. We're going to take a look at the actual EVs and moves, and we're going to start adding some things, taking away some things, changing away some of the Teras, and giving this team just the opportunity to play a little bit longer game by maybe setting Tailwind or having like a dedicated Trick Room answer. I think if we were to talk about Mons we want to keep, if we go take a look at the actual team submission post, it's going to be right here. They say they want to keep Dragapult and Arcanine, which is definitely possible to keep. That being said, I think the Pokemon that's going to be cut here is going to be Bundle. I feel like Bundle was obviously like the best Pokemon in Series 2, but in this series, it's basically being replaced with Chien-Pao on a lot of teams, and we already have Chien-Pao, so we're probably going to cut the Bundle, and then from there, I know you probably don't want to cut the Flutter, because it's how this team wins a lot of games, so you don't have to cut Flutter, but there's one Mon we're going to have to add that you need to have to actually even think about having a matchup versus a lot of these teams, and that's probably going to be like an Amoonguss. I think an Amoonguss is going to help a lot, being able to redirect a lot of those single targets. It's the intangibles that Amoonguss brings to the table. So it allows you the luxury of leading with these Choice Specs, Choice Band, and Choice Scarf Mons, and having to have a value that they can just do tons of AoE damage and have Amoonguss redirect that damage on the board as long as possible, while also weaving in like things like Protect and Spores, even Pollen Puffing some of these guys, or Clear Smogging away other stat boosts from other Mons if you want. So Amoonguss is going to be great on this team. It plays very well with the defensive typing. If you're weak against Water here, swap in your Amoonguss. If you're weak against Fairy here, swap in your Amoonguss. If you're weak against like Poison or Steel here, Amoonguss is still fine to switch in on those. So I think Amoonguss is going to be a good Mon to add to this team. And going back to the Chien-Pao, I think you're going to need to go Ghost here. Ghost is going to be a couple different things. First of all, it's making it so you can't get Fake Outed, but you also can't get Extreme Speeded or Vacuum Waved or Mach Punch, but also you can't just be like hit with those big Drain Punches from Annihilate. So Ghost is going to be a very solid Terra here, and you definitely still want to make this an Ice Spinner over the Crash. Icicle Crash can miss. Yes, it could potentially flinch, but you need to be able to get rid of that Ice Spinner so you can use things like your Sucker Punch, like your Extreme Speed, like your Sucker Punch over here, and this is just a generally good EV spread. You want to take this last little bit though, take it out of HP, because you already have such a high base HP, I would put it in Spadef. Realistically, it doesn't really matter that much, but this is just a standard Chien-Pao, very, very good Mon. Going to the Dragapult, You gotta be that clear body. Like, that's the thing. It makes so you can actually lead versus bundles, you can lead versus intimidate, and this is a very, very solid set. There's nothing really wrong with Dragapult either, you know, it's just one Fort Rain regionals. So, that being said, you could optimize this set a lot to barely outspeed things like bundles and flutters, but because Dragapult's so popular right now, I would just keep it as a 252 set. I would put these last 4 into defense just because for the Pult Mirror and things like that, as well as like Sucker Punch, other moves that are good against Pult or physical right now. And I would also change my Tera. I would change my Tera, probably, what you're seeing a lot of people do is change it to Steel, right? So they can check flutters. And I don't actually think that's a bad idea. I also don't mind Fire as a Tera, so you can hit Corviknight, which I actually think is important because they don't really see this one coming. I like Fire Tera here. You can hit things like Corviknight very well. You can hit things like Amoonguss very, very, very well. You can lead like Dragapult Flutter and go D-Gleam, you can go D-Gleam and Fire Tera into that thing, and they're going to get the KO every single time. And they're going to be like, bro, unlucky, and it's going to be so good. And if you're going to do that, I would cut Sucker Punch realistically. You don't need Sucker Punch on Pult, it's already so fast. So Tera Blast and make it Fire. That's a change I would make. And then from there, you know, go into your Chi-Yu. I think that it's still better to be Timid Chi-Yu just so you know what you're outspeeding. Base 100 is a very popular speed number, and you gotta outspeed things like Volk, or you gotta at least force them to be full speed to speed tie you. Otherwise, like, getting outsped by like a Scarf like 95 base speed bond is like basically end of the world. Dark Pulse is good, Heat Wave's good, Overheat's good. This last spot, I don't think there's a problem with double dipping your Dark Tera either. I think that this last spot could be basically anything you want. There's nothing wrong with Snarl. These last spots completely up for debate, whichever you want, and Snarl's absolutely fine to use. So, good set, throw your last points in HP, and it's completely fine. The last little thing is actually, you had it as Ghost on the actual team, right? And I would recommend Ghost as well, just to be able to avoid those fake outs. Yep, Ghost. And Ghost literally won us a game. So I would say keep that as Ghost. And your Arcanine normal Tera, safety goggles. What we want to do with this set is, I think this is a good set. I don't think you need Player Up as much as you probably do. Because if we're already going like this deep to use like an Extreme Speed Flare Blitz set that's like this bulky, I'm not going to lie, what I would really do here. Because I think Player Up's cool. We even used Player Up, but we didn't have to. I really like Morning Sun here. I'm a big Morning Sun believer on bulky Arcanine because they tend to ignore it, especially when you go for the big like E-speeds in the late game. I love Morning Sun Arcanine. And then from there, I would go like a 12-4-4, be able to split up some of this HP and go for like a 236 there. So you're actually a little bit faster, a little bit bulkier because you're actually taking the points out of HP, which is like you mitigate a lot of points by putting points in HP, but you realistically want to take that last little 8 that you'd be having in HP, split that up into defense and special defense, and 1 point in each of those respective stats is worth the 1 point in HP, because remember, you're cutting up 8 into 2 sets of 4. 2 is more than 1. You get the idea. Very, very standard, and just a solid Arcanine set. I like it a lot. Goggles make so you can switch it on Amoonguss, and it's great. And then you repin the Amoonguss, that's the idea. So with this Flutter set, we cannot use Moongeist Beam. I'm sure you were typing Moonblast, but it's funny. Imagine if it got that. And keeping the Fairy Tera on a set like this is good. That being said, Moonblast is good, D-Gloom's good, Shadow Ball's good. Mystical Fire was good against Amoonguss, but you don't actually need it because now you have Pult to surround it with, and I think Power Gem is much better here. Being able to hit Talonflame, being able to hit Arcanine, being able to still hit Gyarados for super effective. These are all very, very good mons that we can hit. Being able to hit Dragonite, you know, if you don't want to go for like a Moonblast or something like that, can be very, very good to Power Gem. That being said, on this sort of set, I think you still need to be full speed because, again, there is a lot of speed tiers involved. I also did talk about potentially adding a Tailwind user. If you don't want to use a Amoonguss, you could add something like a Talonflame or a Murkrow. I think with this team, just having a little bit of redirection and then like slightly cleaning up what we did over here, Amoonguss is probably going to be fine. I actually am going to recommend that you keep Effect Spore on this team because, like, what would you switch to? Regenerator is always the better ability in most people's situational heads, right? But it's only good if you have other defensive tools to switch to. These are all sweepers, right? Maybe the Arcanine's not, but you know what I mean? They're all sweepers. So you're not going to be swapping out to get Regenerator procs, which means Effect Spore is good. It's just good. And we're going to be using a Rocky Helmet on this set anyways, which means we're putting the maximum amount of value. Like, you can actually play defensively and offensively with Effect Spore and a Rocky Helmet. You want to definitely still use Protect, use the Rage Powder here, and then go for a Spore. And then this last move, you could go Pollen Puff here, but 90% of these mons you're not really going to want a Pollen Puff. And so that being said, we want to think about what mons give us problems, right? We want to think about what mons like actually give us problems. Against a lot of physical mons, we can just Rage Powder and break them with a Rocky Helmet. But like, let's see. Because like Clear Smog is another option. So is Giga Drain, though. These are all actually, like, Leaf Storm is sometimes the viable option on Amoonguss. When you just want to delete something, it can sometimes be really, really good. So can, like, Foul Play. Foul Play on Amoonguss can be very good. In the past, people used physical Amoonguss with, like, Stomping Tantrum. Those are always an option. That being said, for this last move spot, it's hard to say what we want the last move to, because I don't think you're ever going to side Pollen Puff. I think Clear Smog's probably better. Just to be able to deal with Dozo a little bit better, force them to be Steel, I think Clear Smog's going to give you some value. You don't need to go max HP here. You get a little bit of diminishing returns from that, but we can go 244, 28, and then be sure to make this thing as slow as possible so you can actually use it and trick me if you need it. And this is now a very, very bulky Amoonguss. So very, very standard sets. As far as the Tera goes, most people like to go Water here. I don't think you need to go Water on this one because we're going to be using like more of like a Rocky Helmet Effect Spore one. I would say the best Amoonguss Tera here, I would say Fairy. And the reason I like Fairy is because it lets you be immune to dragons, which is great, but it also like resists a lot of really, really unique stuff. Fairy is a very, very solid defensive type, so when you're Rage Powdering into Fairy, it's much better than most people think. You're able to redirect those dark moves a lot more, and you're becoming neutral to things like Psychic, neutral to things like Fire, so you're still fine. And so I would try this Fairy. You could always go back to the standard Water, but that's only really good when you have that Citrus Berry. We're not using Citrus Berry. We're going with a potential Fairy Tera to block a lot of big physical threats that would be going into our other Mons. So try this out, let me know what you think, and we're gonna go play some games on Showdown and see if we can get some wins after making some changes. So wish me luck. Here we go. All right, so we're on Showdown. You see how much advantage they have with those Tailwinds? Because they have like a higher base speed, they can go Murkrow and enable a Tailwind, they can go Lilycole and enable a Tailwind. It's not that great of a spot for us. And we also can't redirect that Lilycole with like Rage Powder because it's a grass type. So what we have to use in those situations are good defensive typings and just other good tools that we can use to mess them up. I'm actually going to try Arcanine Chien-Pao. I think it actually could be a lot of fun to go Arcanine Chien-Pao. E-Speed Sucker Punch into that Torkoal and like heavily mitigate it. And then from there on the back, I don't think that we're terrible using Flutter, but there might be a better option. I think I still will bring the Amoonguss here. And you know, we're going to try the Pult. We're going to try the Pult over the Flutter because I still think Pult is a very good mod on this team. So we're going to this, and it's Slitherwing Torkoal. Very, very low speed control. Great Intimidate here. They can go for first impression into that if they want, and I think that's fine. I'm completely okay with this turn. I don't care about your Torkoal. Your Torkoal is probably going to be a Yonset, right? I don't think that they're going to be like Eruption Torkoal here. So we're going to pivot out the Chien-Pao because I don't want to lose it. I also don't want to leave it on the board. I don't think we need to leave it on the board either. I don't want to be like Protect down, and I'd rather actually come in with a board that has like Amoonguss like ready to go. So Lilligant pivots. Are you protecting that Torkoal, or are you doing something stupid with it? They're doing something stupid with it. Can we get a burn here? Survey says. He actually clicked the Eruption. Wow. What a guy. That's crazy. That's crazy. We can just click, darn that one. We click Dragon Darts. Doesn't matter if we target, and we're just going to E-Speed out here. That is nuts. That's nuts. They just clicked the raw Eruption. Hey, good play for them now. This is going to do a lot. This Eruption might not even KO our Arcanine here. 9%. That's really, really good. So if they want to play a passive turn, we can just go for a Morning Sun. They come in back with this guy. Photosynthesis attack boost. Let's think about how we're going to do this. Boost Photosynthesis. I think we can Darts, and I think they might protect their Torkoal, and if we low-key, if we go Darts and hard switch in the Chien-Pao, I think we double dip into Okoing that thing off the Defense Shred. Should we protect? Oh, first impression. Should be fine. We got that Sash. We're going to get a lot of damage in. You're not going to KO both of our Mons here. That's the thing. You're probably going to KO the Chien-Pao. Oh, you just Flamethrowered. Critical hit! Unlucky, dude. I've been crit so many times today, and this is fine. Dragonauts will get that finish off. And we can do anything we want here. We just have to use the right move. What's the Mon they can have in the back? It's probably going to be one of their Dark Mons, so we just want a Sacred Sword. You don't have a priority move on that Slither. You can go for Protects and stuff like that, but we also have our own Arcanine that can come in. Chien-Pao, there it is. So Dragon Darts is going to KO the Torkoal. And then we get the Chien-Pao Sucker Punch. We got it. Not Sucker Punch, Sacred Sword. So we use the right move there in the right situations. And we'll take those wins. And again, we're still having to play so greedy. You can only get one KO here. You can only get one. And in these situations, you don't really ever need to go for like protects or like anything weird or anything like that. We actually have a higher base speed, so we can Sucker Punch over them. Oh, we can't. I mean, am I an idiot? Is Sucker Punch... Wait. Is First Impression a +2? I learned today. Today I learned something. I learned things today. That's crazy. Huh. Yeah, we can just Forward still though. We'll basically KO ourselves and be fine. Sucker Punch almost gets the KO. Leech Life. Oh man, we're gonna go into a late game situation. I should have just Extreme Speed. I didn't want to like proc a weird berry. That being said, they have... we should still be fine. Like Ice Spinnering into that thing. But that's crazy. Almost a couple misplays. I didn't know First Impression was a +2. That seems like a really weird... Yeah, that's weird. Sucker Punch should have gone first. I didn't know that. I'm gonna look this up. Yeah, I'm on Cerebi. I didn't know that was a +2 priority move. I wonder if it's always been a +2 priority move and I'm just bad. But, I mean, it's called First Impression. It makes sense it would go first. So, pretty cool stuff. I learned something. Alright, here we go. One more game. We see Palmot with... Kilowatt. And they have potential for like a fast Tailwind from that Roaring Moon, but I don't know how much that really matters. They have like Roaring Moon can go for like a booster play, and if they're boostering, that means they're a Sash bundle. I think this does look like a Sash bundle team. That being said, I think something like Dragapult can still be very good because it threatens a lot of those. It can go for a Phantom Force and then something else if it wants to. We also really need to stop the Kilowatt. So something like this is good against all of those, and it sucks against like Icy Wind bundle Kilowatt. That would be very bad. If that's what they're going to do, we would then pivot in our Arcanine and bring our Chien-Pao as like a Sashmon / like bulky like Revenge KOmon like Arcanine in the back. So there's the bundle. There's the Chi-Yu. Okay, they're trying to roll us over. They're trying to go like Icy Wind into absolutely rolling us. So what do we want to do here? You can Icy Wind, but I still think that they're still faster than us here. They're going to go after the Pult, I think. So I'm going to switch in the Arcanine and just go for that D-Gleam. If they target my Flutter, they target my Flutter. But, like, I think they're targeting the Pult. Protect. Wow. Icy Wind. This is great damage against the bundle, so that's the whole point. And I'm assuming that they're Sash bundle, right? Yep, there it is. Cool. So we can just E-Speed there. E-Speed seals up that slot. And just same D-Gleam. You can go for a Dark Pulse in that slot, and I think it's fine. You can Dark Pulse the Flutter. It's absolutely fine. Yep, totally okay. Because now we get to see their item. It's the Life Orb. We can just bring in either of these. Because now your speed control is like very, very cut in half. We're going to bring the Chien-Pao out because we can just threaten that slot with a Sacred Sword. Maybe force like a Dark Tera. Sorry, not Dark Tera, a Ghost Tera. And then just punish it off with something else. There's the Goldang Dodies, though. Okay. Huh. I mean, Flare Blitz would KO there. And Sacred Sword would KO there. I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz and the Goldango and just to protect. Because I think there's going to be something dicey here. Make it rain. The fast dang, though. Not KOing just yet. Are you doubling to my Arcanine? Good play. Good play from them. Really like that. Hey, what could I have done in that situation? So they stayed in. Now they're weaker, though. So now we can go for a couple more different things. We have the Fire Tera Blast from the Goldango to get the KO. It's physical. It's going to mix with the Chien-Pao. And we can just Sacred Sword out the Chi-Yu. So it's fodder in the Arcanine sucked. But we should be fine here. Yep. And yeah, now we're stuck using Fire Tera. But, like, what do you have? Palmot? Roaring Moon? Roaring Moon's a good Pokemon, but, like, we have a Chien-Pao right here. So let's think about what we need to do. And they got a Photosynthesis boost into attack. So we actually are faster than them with both these. So I actually think we want to... Only one of these has AoE moves. Let's go for the Tera Blast into that, and just the Sacred Sword into here. I feel like, though, we should just go Tera. We should just double into this slot. It's so much safer in case they were to Tera Ghost or something. Yeah, it's just safer. Get that thing off the board. You can only KO one of these if you can even KO anything. And if you were to tail one or do something weird, it's fine. Acrobatics, like, we should be absolutely fine, especially because now we have Ice Spinner, right? Now we get that Ice Spinner. We can't even miss. We're golden. And you see that win. we almost messed up in the mid game, right? But you can see when your opponent has that speed control, you got to be very, very, very particular and start trading with your opponents. This sort of like how we played this game with like weaving in other mons and foddering mons, these are all 1-for-1 trades. I'm doing a couple turns worth of work to get your bundle off the board, right? It takes my Flutter main, and it takes, you know, potentially weaving in Intimidates in, and it takes like 2 moves from my mons to take out one of your mons, and I still end up trading a 1-for-1 trade. But their bundle was so important to that matchup that now I basically have the tools that I need to beat any of your other mons. Bring up the Chien-Pao. I even go for a safer play this turn. Try and risk winning the game here. I was planning to see if they would go with something like a Ghost Tera Chi-Yu to block a Sacred Sword, or something like a different Tera on the Goldingo, like a Water Tera Goldingo to block the Flare. So I was scouting to see what sort of Tera they had. It looks like they didn't have anything spectacular, so we're able to Fire Turn to the Dragapult, you know, making those changes that we talked about earlier, seal up the Chi-Yu, and then once we see the fact that they have a Roaring Moon, and we see the booster there into attack, it's pretty obvious that's going to be a Flying Tera. We can just double into the Chi-Yu to make sure they still aren't going to go for some weird sort of Tera Cheese. Like, for example, if they went for, like, a Ghost Tera that is still blocked by Sacred Sword that I showed, they would have gotten one-shotted by the Dragapult there. So we still made all the right plays, I think, but it just goes to show. These really aggressive teams, you walk a really, really fine line. So if you're someone that struggles using hyper-offensive teams like this one, maybe this team isn't for you. But if this team is appealing in this playstyle of getting into a slight advantageous board state and trading is advantageous to you, think about trying out this team. The Poke Paste for the updated team as well as the submitted team will be in the description of this video. You can check out all of the other teams that everyone has submitted so far on Patreon, as well as all the fixings I've done. That's all on Patreon, as well as a bunch of rentals that I don't even post anywhere else. I make a new team every other day that I post just for the members of Patreon. I don't post anywhere else. I don't use them in videos. So there's a bunch of really, really cool stuff on the Patreon, and I would highly recommend you guys at least check it out, because I work really, really hard on this sort of stuff. And like I've said it before, even the lowest tier, $2 a month, helps me so much more than watching literally every single video on the channel. So if the Patreon's at all interesting to you, think about at least checking it out. Think about maybe throwing the $2 in for at least 1 month. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Calvin for submitting this team. And other than that, don't forget to answer the question today. Let me know the most busted Pokemon ever for any format. And I'll see you guys next time.